I froze the moment I saw them. Two men standing in the doorway, one holding a suitcase, the other with the same look of shock that must have been on my face. "Emily?" one of them said quietly. His voice hadn't changed. Calm. Steady. The kind of voice that once made me believe everything would be okay. Double quotes Liam. I whispered. "You're here?" Behind him, another man stepped forward. Taller, more confident, the hint of a grin tugging at his mouth. Ryan. The room suddenly felt smaller. I hadn't seen either of them in 6 years. Not since the summer everything fell apart. Not since I left without saying goodbye. And now, here they were. Both of them. In the same cabin. At the same time. "I thought Nora said it was just family this weekend," I said, still trying to process it. Ryan laughed lightly. "We are family. At least to her. Guess that makes us your surprise guests." My heart raced. This is unexpected. Good unexpected or bad? He teased. I didn't answer. Liam placed his suitcase down. "We didn't know you'd be here either." There was something in his tone, something careful. Like he was walking on a memory he didn't want to step too hard on. The cabin was quiet except for the rain tapping on the windows. Nora was still outside, helping with the groceries. For a brief, tense moment, it was just the three of us, me, Liam, and Ryan. Alone, but I took a slow breath. "So, you two still visit this place?" Liam nodded. "Every year. Same weekend. Keeps Dad's memory alive." That hit me harder than I expected. Their father, Mr. Hayes, had been like a second father to me once. Before everything changed, Ryan leaned against the counter. "You still sing, Emily?" His question caught me off guard. "Not anymore," I said quietly. He smirked. "That's a shame. You used to make this place sound like summer." Before I could reply, the door opened. Nora walked in, shaking the rain from her hair. "Oh good, you've all met." I forced a smile. "Yes, small world." Nora looked between us, sensing the tension. "Wait, do you guys already know each other?" Ryan chuckled. "You could say that." Liam said nothing. I wanted to disappear. Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. Nora tried to keep the conversation light, but my mind kept drifting to the past. To that last summer, when everything went wrong, when I thought I was in love with one of them, and accidentally broke the heart of the other. After dinner, Nora's phone rang. "It's work," she sighed. "I have to take this. You guys can start the fire without me." She stepped out onto the porch, leaving us again. The same three people, the same silence, the same unfinished story. Ryan broke it first. "You look exactly the same, Em, except maybe a little stronger." "Life does that to people," I said. Liam glanced up from the firewood he was arranging. "Some people change. Some just pretend they did." The words stung. Ryan shot him a warning look. "Come on, man." But Liam didn't look away from me. His eyes, the same eyes that once held promises, now held something else. Distance, regret, maybe even anger. I stood up. "I think I'll get some air." Outside, the rain had stopped. The forest smelled like wet pine and memory. I leaned against the railing, trying to breathe. I wasn't supposed to see them again. Not after what happened. Not after the letter I left behind. The one they'd probably never read. I jumped when the door opened behind me. It was Ryan. He handed me a blanket. "You'll catch a cold." "Thanks," I said softly. He stood beside me. "He still hasn't forgiven you, you know." "I figured," I whispered. Ryan sighed. "You shouldn't have left without saying goodbye." "I didn't know how," I admitted. "I thought walking away was easier than breaking two hearts." He looked at me then, That same easy smile, but softer. You didn't just break hearts, Emily, you changed everything. Before I could answer, the sound of footsteps came from behind us. Liam stood in the doorway, holding something small in his hand. It was a folded piece of paper, old, creased, familiar. My heart dropped. He looked straight at me. You mean this letter? I froze. He unfolded it slowly, his voice calm but sharp. I found it last week, hidden behind the piano. The air went still. Ryan's smile faded. What letter? Liam's eyes didn't leave mine. The one she left before she disappeared. My breath caught. He stepped closer, holding it out. You still want to pretend like you don't owe us an explanation? I swallowed hard. The world blurred around me. Because that letter, the one I thought no one would ever find, contained the one secret I swore I'd never tell either of them. And now, it was out in the open. I took the letter from Liam's hand, my fingers trembling. The paper smelled faintly of old ink and pine wood, like the summers I'd spent here long ago. I unfolded it carefully, afraid that seeing it again would undo the years of distance I had built around my heart. Ryan leaned against the porch railing, watching me, his arms crossed. You really left without a word, he said quietly. There was no anger in his voice, just hurt. I swallowed. I didn't know how to explain. I thought leaving was the only way not to hurt anyone. Liam's jaw tightened. Leaving hurt us anyway. The words stung. They always did, even after all these years. I closed my eyes and let the memories come. Unbidden. Though I was 16 the first time I met them. Ryan bursting into the community center with that wide, reckless grin, and Liam quietly reading on the bench. Detached from the chaos. I had tripped over a loose floorboard and fallen into Ryan, sending us both sprawling. I'm so sorry, I had gasped, laughing through the embarrassment. Ryan had laughed louder than me. You okay? Liam had simply looked up from his book and said, Careful. Some people aren't so lucky. That had been the start. Ryan dragged me into games, into adventures across town, into secret hideouts behind the old library. Liam followed more quietly, always observing, always calm. A steady presence I didn't realize I was leaning on until much later. We had spent that entire summer together, 3 of us, laughing until our sides ached. Ryan challenged me at every turn, climbing trees, jumping streams, daring me to run faster than he did. Liam was different. He listened, remembered details, noticed the small things I never thought anyone did. He remembered my favorite song, the way I liked my coffee, the way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I was nervous. And slowly, the simple joys built a bond I didn't want to break. But life, as it often does, intervened. That autumn, my father announced a move to another state. I begged him not to send me away, but the decision was final. I promised myself I'd write. I promised I'd stay. But somewhere between the chaos of packing and the fear of new beginnings, my letters stopped coming. By the time I realized what I had done, the distance was already too much. Ryan stopped answering at first, then Liam followed. Misunderstandings grew. Ryan thought I had abandoned him. Liam thought I had made a choice to leave them behind. Silence became the only way to cope. I never understood that at the time. I just knew the weight of leaving was heavier than I could bear. Emily. Ryan's voice pulled me back to the present. I looked up. His brown eyes were soft now, but wary. Do you remember the night of the fireworks? He asked. I nodded. We had all sneaked out to the hill outside town. Fireworks lit the sky, painting our faces gold and red. I had laughed so hard that night, spilling soda all over Ryan's jacket. Liam had just smiled quietly, shaking his head, pretending to be annoyed. But he had held my hand without thinking, and I had felt safe, invincible even. That memory made the ache in my chest flare. Ryan took a step closer. I never stopped waiting for you, you know. I swallowed, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. I never stopped thinking about you both. Every summer, every winter. I remembered everything. Liam, silent until now, finally spoke. You left without a reason, without a word, and we had to believe we weren't worth staying for. I wanted to tell him it wasn't true. I wanted to tell him the real reason I left, the fear, the confusion, the shame that had rooted itself so deeply, I didn't think I could ever face them again. The rain started again, soft at first, then heavier, tapping on the roof like a rhythm I couldn't ignore. We all fell silent, memories and regrets mixing with the sound of the storm. I glanced down at the letter in Liam's hand. My old words, written in the nervous script of a 16-year-old, confessed the truth of my heart, the secret I had buried even from myself. That I loved both of them in different ways. And leaving was my cowardly way of protecting that love from the impossibility of choosing. I met Liam's gaze. His expression flickered. Confusion, shock, and something I couldn't name. Ryan broke the silence with a small, incredulous laugh. Wait, you loved both of us. My voice shook. I didn't know how to. I thought it would ruin everything. For a moment, none of us spoke. Then Liam's hand went to the letter, unfolding it again, and his lips parted slightly, almost in disbelief. Emily, he said finally, this changes everything. I didn't understand how. I didn't understand yet, but something in the air shifted. The past wasn't just memories anymore. It was alive, waiting for us to face it together. And just as I felt a fragile thread of hope, Ryan's eyes widened, pointing behind me. I turned slowly, heart racing, on the porch. Half hidden under the rain was another envelope, addressed to me, in handwriting I didn't recognize. I froze. The past had more secrets, and this one was waiting for me to open it. The envelope on the porch trembled in my hand. Rain had soaked it just enough to blur the edges of the ink. Liam and Ryan were watching me, their eyes heavy with anticipation. Neither said a word, but I could feel the weight of years pressing down on us all. Who sent this? I asked finally, voice barely above the rain. Liam shook his head. No idea. I didn't even know it existed. Ryan stepped closer. Maybe it's from someone who knows the whole story. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single photograph. It was a picture of all three of us, younger, laughing, arms thrown around each other, and written across the back, in a familiar hand, were 3 words that made my stomach twist. You can choose. I froze. What does this mean? Ryan's jaw tightened. It's from him. Liam's eyes darkened. I think it's Dad. My heart skipped. Their father had passed years ago. Yet this envelope was new, delivered after all this time. A secret from the past had followed us into the present. I looked up at them, rain dripping from my hair. Why now? After all these years? Ryan shrugged. Maybe some things refused to wait. The 3 of us stood there, soaked, facing the storm outside and the storm inside. No one moved. No one spoke. Yet the air between us hummed with tension, the kind that comes when unspoken feelings are inches from breaking free. Finally, Liam spoke. Emily, you left us because you thought it was easier. That maybe the easier path isn't the one worth taking. I met his gaze. His eyes were still the same steady brown I remembered. But there was something softer now. Something that said he still cared. Despite everything, Ryan's hand brushed against mine as he reached for the photo. You didn't ruin us, he said quietly. We were always waiting for you to come back. I blinked. Waiting? He nodded. Every summer. Every day that passed. We weren't angry, just hoping. Liam stepped forward then, closing the space between us. Emily, we never stopped believing you'd return. That you'd tell us the truth. My throat tightened. I wanted to explain everything. The fear, the letters I never sent, the love I didn't know how to confess. But the words caught in my chest. Instead, I looked at Ryan first. I never stopped thinking about you either. Both of you. His eyes widened slightly, hurt and hope mixed together. Emily. Liam's hand hovered near mine. You loved us both. I nodded. I did. I didn't know how to choose. So I ran. I thought it would protect us all. But I see now. Running only hurt everyone. Ryan let out a slow breath. So, we're here, together, finally, and yet, I realized what he meant. We were back in the same place, but the past wasn't gone. The hurt, the misunderstandings, the years of silence, they were all still there, tangled with this fragile reunion. A flash of lightning lit the porch. I shivered. Liam took a step closer, his voice low. I can't promise it'll be easy, but maybe we can start. Here, Ryan nodded. No promises either, but I don't want to waste another day pretending we don't feel what we feel. I swallowed hard, feeling the pulse of something I hadn't dared to hope for in years. The rain slowed, turning into a soft drizzle. I looked between them. Liam, steady and sure, Ryan, warm and reckless. Both of them had been part of my life in ways I couldn't erase. And yet, now I realized I had to face the choice I had avoided for so long. Then, we start, I said softly. A small smile tugged at Liam's lips. Ryan's grin returned, brighter than before, but his eyes betrayed the depth of emotion he was holding back. And in that quiet moment, standing on the porch with rain-soaked hair and a beating heart, I felt something shift. The past had collided with the present. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was running anymore, but the photograph still lay in my hand. You can choose. I looked at Liam. Then Ryan. The storm had passed outside, but inside, a different storm was just beginning. I realized the truth. This weekend wouldn't just be a reunion. It would demand a choice. And I wasn't sure if I was ready. The cabin was quiet. Too quiet. Rain dripped from the roof in slow, steady taps. I sat at the edge of the couch, the photograph and letter still in my hands. Liam and Ryan stood across from me, their faces unreadable. Finally, Liam spoke. His voice was calm. Emily, tell us the truth. All of it. I looked at him. At Ryan. The weight of years pressed down. I'm scared, I admitted. I've been scared to say it. Scared I'd ruin everything if I did. Ryan stepped closer. You can't hide anymore. Not from us. Not from yourself. I took a deep breath. I left because I loved you both. I didn't know how to choose. I thought distance would make it easier, but it didn't. It only made the silence louder. Liam's eyes softened. We felt that silence. Every day. But we never blamed you. Not completely, we just didn't understand. I shook my head. I thought you'd hate me. I thought leaving was safer than facing your disappointment. I didn't realize that leaving would break more than me. Ryan's hand hovered near mine, but he didn't touch. It hurt, he said quietly. But we also waited. We hoped. And we remembered. I remembered too, I said. Every song we sang. Every summer. Every little thing that made you both. You. I never stopped. Not for a day. Liam took a slow step forward. I guess. We all thought the other had moved on. And we never spoke, Ryan added, because we were afraid of the answer. I looked between them. The answer was always inside me. I never stopped caring. I never stopped wanting to come back, but I needed to understand myself first. Liam nodded. I get that. I really do. We all made mistakes, but maybe we can finally stop hiding from them. The three of us sat in silence for a moment. The fire crackled softly, but it felt distant. Words were no longer enough. Ryan finally spoke. So, what happens now? I swallowed. I don't know. I wish I could undo the past, but I can't. All I can do is be honest now and hope it's enough. Liam's hand brushed mine, tentative, careful. Honesty is more than enough. Ryan's eyes met mine. And it's not just enough. It's the only way forward. The truth had been laid bare. Years of fear, silence, and misunderstanding stripped away in a single quiet confession. And yet, as much as the weight lifted, the choice still hung in the air like a storm cloud. I could feel their patience, their hope, their love, but I also knew I had to face it. The impossible decision I had avoided for so long. I began, my voice trembling. I can't promise I have the answer right now. Liam's expression was gentle. We don't need an answer tonight. Ryan nodded. We just need the truth. And you've given us that. The letter, the photograph, the memories, all of it pressed together in my hands. Then Liam looked down, his voice soft, almost a whisper. There's one more thing you should know. My heart skipped. What? He hesitated. Before you left. Before everything ended. I wrote to Ryan. I told him I thought I might lose you forever. Ryan's eyes widened. You told me? Liam nodded. I didn't want you to blame yourself. I wanted you to know. We were both trying to hold on, in our own way. I felt tears welling up. You both waited. For me? Yes, Liam said simply. Because we never stopped loving you. Ryan added, and we never stopped hoping you'd come back. Even if it meant standing in silence for years. I felt the room tilt around me. The truth, the quiet honesty, the long-hidden feelings. All of it was here. Finally. And yet, as comforting as it was, it made the decision harder. Because knowing they had waited, loving me, made me realize how much I had lost, and how much I still could lose if I chose wrong. I looked from Liam to Ryan. Their faces mirrored patience, hope, and an unspoken question. Now what? I swallowed, feeling the weight of everything settle onto my shoulders. The rain outside had stopped, but the storm inside me had just begun. And in that quiet, tense moment, I knew the weekend would decide more than memories. It would decide hearts.mine.Liam single quotes SI's search mine. Ryan's hand lightly brushed mine. And I realized I was standing at the edge of a choice I couldn't avoid any longer. I stood between them, heart pounding. The silence stretched, heavy but gentle, like the pause before a song begins. I don't want to hurt either of you, I said softly. You won't, Liam replied, his voice calm. Because we understand now. All of us. Ryan reached for my hand. Careful, steady. We've waited for you to be ready. Not for us to decide, but for you. I looked at both of them, seeing years of memory, love, and hope reflected in their eyes. The fear I had carried melted slightly, replaced by something warmer, something I hadn't dared to imagine. I can't change the past, I whispered. But I want to be here. Now. Liam smiled faintly, the kind that reaches the eyes first. That's all we ever wanted. Ryan nodded, squeezing my hand. All of it begins here. For a moment none of us moved. Then Liam stepped closer, taking my other hand in his. The three of us stood in a quiet triangle of connection, rainlight filtering through the cabin windows. I thought of all the years lost, all the letters unsent, all the small silences that had grown too heavy. And I realized forgiveness had been waiting for me all along, not just from them, but from myself. Ryan broke the silence with a soft laugh. Remember the last summer we were together? I smiled, a memory flickering to life. You fell into the creek, and you laughed so hard you couldn't breathe, Liam added, the faintest grin tugging at his lips. I thought you'd never stop. We laughed then, quietly, gently, the sound filling the room like sunshine, after a storm. After a moment, I noticed the envelope still in my hand, the one Liam had found earlier. Inside, tucked beneath the photograph, was another note I hadn't seen before. It wasn't from Dad this time. It was from me, or rather, from the girl I had been years ago. Love is never wasted. Even if you leave, even if you fear, even if the world changes, the hearts that wait for you will still be there. And someday, you'll know where you belong. I swallowed hard, tears threatening to fall. My past self had left me a gift, the reminder that love endures, even across time and mistakes. I held the note to my chest. I think I finally understand. Liam stepped closer, brushing a damp strand of hair from my face. Then let's stop pretending we're strangers again. Ryan's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. We're not. Not anymore. Not ever. The three of us moved to the porch, the storm gone, leaving only the fresh scent of rain and pine. Light danced on the wet leaves. I took a deep breath, feeling the years of separation fall away with the clouds. And in that moment, it felt as if the world had paused just long enough for us to be exactly where we were meant to be. We didn't need to speak. We didn't need to plan. Just standing there, together, was enough. Then Liam reached into his pocket and pulled out a small envelope. My heart skipped. I kept this, he said softly, handing it to me. Found it when we cleaned out the attic last year. I wasn't ready to open it. Until now. I unfolded it carefully. Inside was a tiny pressed flower, a violet, and a note written in his handwriting. No matter the years, no matter the distance, the place in my heart is always yours. Ryan smiled, tears brimming. I have one too. From his pocket, he pulled a small feather, white and delicate, with a note. Some things are meant to find you again. You found us. We'll never let go. I looked at them both, overwhelmed. The years of silence, the distance, the fear, all of it melted away in a single, perfect moment. I held their hands, one in each of mine, and realized something true and simple. Love isn't about easy choices. It's about patience, understanding, trust, and the courage to return, no matter how long it takes. The sun broke through the clouds, spilling golden light over the porch. I closed my eyes and let it wash over me. Finally, I whispered, I'm home. And for the first time in years, I felt it, the kind of peace that comes from knowing that some hearts never forget, and some love never fades.